right, we are back and we have Keith Corlew, and I know that you have a lot of hats with St. John's School, and Sister Maureen Burke, and your title is President.
President.
Wow. So why weren't you at the debate last night?
I have better things to do.
Well, I fell asleep anyway, so. So I've been to the school a few times. I've talked to you. I've had a tour of the place. And I was there the other night at the volleyball game. I was videoing that. And the last time I was there, you were showing me what's going to happen. This is going to be like this, and this is going to be like that. And boy, coming back, yeah. And we were just talking off air about what things were like in the 1990s for St. John, and how things have changed and turned around and all. So I thought maybe we could talk about that and what the school has to offer. And if people are stuck in the 90s when it comes to the school, maybe we can enlighten them a little bit.
Be happy to do that. Well, first of all, we're grateful to have the opportunity to share the St. John story. We think it's a story that has a lot of implications for Ashtabula County, for Conneaut, for the Ashtabula area itself. We're the only pre-K through 12 private Catholic school in the entire county. Ashtabula County, as you all well know, is the largest geographic county in the state of Ohio, and we believe it's vital to have a presence of a strong educational system, both public and non-public, to be able to attract quality businesses, to attract quality families to our area, and to help them maintain residences, maintain buildings. So we believe we have a unique niche as a mission to provide that kind of educational opportunity. Certainly education is more than bricks and mortar. It's about the people, it's about the kids, it's about faculty, it's about families. But as you said, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, where we were located certainly didn't always allow us to attract families and students to the school. So in 2011, the decision was made to move from the Mount Carmel building in Columbus, on Columbus Street in Ashtabula, and the high school building on Station Avenue on 34th Street, consolidate both, and to move to a building that had been used by the public school in Saybrook Township on Depot Road. And what's happened since then is nothing short of a miracle.
And how dire things were is that St. John, the diocese, wanted to close it.
The diocese
it kind of removed himself from the school
for a while, and it's understandable to some degree.
Right.
Enrollment was declining.
If you stopped and analyzed it, now you may have thought, maybe we should have done that.
Maybe 3 years ago I might have answered that to you. But, enrollment was declining. There wasn't a financial stability. There wasn't a plan in place to provide growth and to provide financial stability. Certainly, we have a mission, and it's important for that mission, but mission without financial stability is just a pipe dream.
Right.
And we've been able to bring some financial stability to the school, so we know that the question isn't, are we going to be open anymore? It's the questions now are, what are we adding? What kind of programs are we adding?
Yes.
Keith has done a great job with enrollment management, attracting students to find out about the school. We can talk a little bit about that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it wasn't part of the diocese for a little while. It quickly kind of came back, though, and there was a lot of support. A lot of people gave money. A lot of people helped back during those bad times. It kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit of cold water, realizing that something needed to be done.
Right, exactly. I think, people were giving money, they believed in it, but at the same time they realized that we needed a plan to move forward. The board in 2010 put together a strategic plan that at that time probably seemed, even to me, unrealistic. And I'm one who thinks the glass is 3/4 full, not half full. But when I came and they said to increase enrollment to over 300 and we were at 220, I was like, I don't know about this. But I think the move, I think the idea of planning, we instituted a new form of governance. Prior years you didn't hear the title president with a Catholic school or with schools in general. But today the school world is so complex. You have not only all the state mandates, but you have all the financial concerns as well as the day-to-day operations of the school. So my role is to engage the community, to put together the financial stability part, to put together the future plan. While Nick Prokosky, who's well known in the Conneaut area, runs the day-to-day operations. We work very closely together. Putting that plan together has helped the move to a new location. One of our builders, when we first moved and we took over the building on June 15th, and we needed it to be ready.
And this is the old Saybrook Elementary School.
Right. We took over on June 15th, and we needed it to be ready by August 15th. People didn't think we could do it, but we had about 200 people there almost every day. Kids, 5-year-olds, 80-year-olds. One of the contractors who was helping us said he never saw anything like it since the days of barn building and bringing in the neighbors to it. And I think people realized that there was a way to be able to do this, that if we did it strategically, not just throwing money at it, but really putting a plan together.
Right.
And when we moved, people had questions. There wasn't a real gym at the school. There wasn't a...
It was like a little elementary
school gym.
Yeah.
There wasn't room for science labs for high school students. There weren't the rooms necessarily down the road for other high school classrooms. We stood there and we said, we were going to get it done. I don't think we thought we'd get it done in 2.5 years, which is what it turned out to be. But we now have a beautiful state-of-the-art gym. It seats over 600 people. I think it rivals most gyms in the county.
Oh, yeah.
We have a weight room. We have 9 additional classrooms. We have beautiful 6 tennis courts provided by NASA family. People have come together to help with the gym itself. Great Lakes Auto, a number of other contractors in the area have donated their time and their materials. It's really been a group community effort to provide the best for kids, and that's what it's about. It's about the kids.
Yeah, and you're talking about the people coming together. I wasn't there at the opening, but I saw the video. In fact, I put together the video that somebody else shot of the ceremony, and they were like, hesitate because I don't want to be wrong, but like the contractor's wife or somebody was in there helping at the last minute. And
the architect was in scrubbing floors the night before.
So you guys must motivate people. If you need motivation, folks.
I think the motivation is the kids.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. You see young people happy coming to school. They're in a safe, secure environment. They're there to learn. They're there to have fun. We have lots of activities that we're able to provide that sometimes other school communities aren't able to provide. Flag football for younger kids, a little cheerleading for small kids. We're starting a book club for grades 3 through 8 that parents are willing to help volunteer and do. We're bringing in a local author next week. We're bringing in a parent session. So it's a lot of parent activity. Parents feel they have a role, they have a place. They can make a suggestion and it can happen. So it's a little bit more of a smaller community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the motivation, that they see kids are happy, parents are happy, getting a good education.
It really is a sense of community there. Everybody's friendly, but it's like everybody knows everybody, and like I was at the senior night for the volleyball, and it's all like whoever started here as a 3-year-old, and this person started in nursery school. And when I've been there before, I've noticed that too, that these are people that started out as toddlers, barely able to walk, and graduating.
I give a lot of credit to the students who are, this year's seniors, last year's graduates. They stuck through the school when there were, challenges. It wasn't easy as seniors to move to a new location 3 years ago, or for high school kids to do that. They've kind of been the warriors that made it happen. Their spirit has been absolutely phenomenal. It's great to see seniors having a buddy with a kindergarten student, and you see these big hulky football players bending down, helping a kindergarten learn how to color within the lines and help them tie their shoes and learn all those kinds of skills. I think it helps the older students learn about how to teach people things, about how to be patient, how to understand people that are different. Probably helps them be a little bit less rugged, and it helps the young kids to have these kids to look up to. They, even after they graduate, the kindergartners, when they see them back in the hall when they're first and second graders and a graduate comes back, they're thrilled, running up to them. And, it's a nice atmosphere to have, to be able to do those kinds of activities.
This is a specific program, right, that where you pair a kindergartner with a senior.
Correct.
Right. We call that program a senior buddy program, and that's really a formal program where, our 20 seniors are all assigned to kindergarten students, and this year I think they all have 2 kindergartners because we have quite a bit more in our kindergarten class than we do in the senior class. And they spend the whole year together teaching them the school, going through Halloween, going through Christmas, going through Easter, explaining to them, what these traditions mean at the school, and like Sister said, helping them color, helping them, create Valentines for soldiers, pumpkins to take home to mom and dad, whatever it is. But it really goes beyond that too. The flag football that Sister mentioned, that starts in kindergarten. So we have kindergarten boys and girls all the way up through 6th graders playing flag football. Well, the quarterbacks, because kindergartens generally can't throw a football yet, the quarterbacks on Sundays during intramural flag football are the 8th and 9th grade football players, the 7th grade football players. So it's giving them a leadership opportunity, and obviously makes the game go a whole lot better when you have a kid who can throw the ball. But the kindergartners get to know the 7th and the 8th graders. In the winter during the intramural basketball, the older kids that are on the basketball team, boys and girls, serve as the referees. Sometimes they'll help out with the coaching. So really it's, community is the word that you used, and it's the word that we use almost every day, because that really best describes St. John, I think, in one word. But it's bringing the little kids and the big kids together in a shared mission. And the kindergarten, 1st grade students, they absolutely think they're the most important thing in the world when an older student sees them in the hall and knows who they are. It's really a big deal to them.
And I'm sorry, well, I was just going to say that when you're in kindergarten, you may be like at first scared to death.
Yeah.
You left your mom and all, and then to have somebody like that come up and you know that you've got friends there and all.
I think another thing we really try to emphasize, and it brings out what Keith said, is encouraging students to be leaders. I think today we get a lot of negative connotation about young people. And I think what we're trying to instill and inspire, motivate our students is to recognize that, they're not leaders tomorrow or 10 years down the road. We're not preparing them to be on the next presidential debate. Some could be. We want them to be leaders now. We want seniors to be leaders. We want 5th graders to be leaders. And I think, St. John has a strong track record of providing leadership for, Ashtabula County. When you look at people in our community that are in business, that are in government positions, in community service.
Football coaches.
College football coaches. Urban Meyer, certainly a proud graduate of St. John's School. We're proud of him. He's been good to us. But it's that type of leadership that we think is important. There's lots of talk today about Common Core and testing and all of those kinds of things. But I think what we're really trying to help students do is to be real critical thinkers. That's what the Common Core at its heart should be about.
Right. Rather than memorizing something to
be able to
write it down and then okay, I can forget that.
Yeah. And we're trying to help students, recognize that they have gifts and talents within them, that they're leaders, they're people of service, that they have things to give back to the community. We require, but students go beyond it in terms of service. We have students that worked last week the Coslarello 5K walk at Geneva State Park. We have students involved in Conneaut growth projects out here in the area. Students that are participating in Ashtabula leadership. We participate in the HALO program in the summer. Students are involved in a number of service camps.
The LEAF project.
Correct.
I was at one of his houses, and there was Nick Prokosky, not in a suit and tie, out there helping to paint and supervising some kids there.
He's active with service groups out here. We think all of our teachers are very active and modeling what we want our students to be, not just, they go beyond what's required in the classroom. Some of our teachers are coaches. Two of our elementary school teachers are high school coaches. A couple of our high school teachers coach as well. They're involved with book clubs. They're involved with helping students academically go beyond the classroom. Angela Ackley, our 6th grade teacher, is active with getting students involved in literature projects. She's also been very active with Ann Abraham from the Kent State Ashtabula branch with various science and be a chemist for a day. And these are teachers who, the bell rings at 2:20, they're not rushing out the door. They're there well beyond what's required of them. Again, because they want what's good for kids, and they see kids who are willing to learn. They want to help them be able to do that. We have a nice mix of faculty and staff. We have some faculty and staff who have been there for 20, 25 years, and now we have a number of new, right out of college kind of teachers. Some interesting stories of 3 graduates on the faculty that are in their 20s that kind of all came knocking at my door and said, "Sister, this is the only place we want to teach. We're going to keep knocking until you find a job for us." And gratefully we've been able to find them. But people who loved what they had when they were at St. John's School and want to be able to provide that for the next generation of young people.
Okay, we'll continue. So you're kind of the marketing guy. What else do you do? You look like you're a coach. Are you a coach?
Thank you. I haven't coached in years, but
you have coached.
But have been a coach.
So you don't lose that coach look.
You don't lose that look, and you don't lose that approach. I don't think.
Right.
When you're in a school, that's a nice place to start. Is from a coaching perspective. But I do enrollment management and marketing at the school.
So what does that mean?
Great question. It means whatever sister tells me to do on any given day.
Today's off day, isn't it?
Drive the caveat, right. It really means that I'm doing anything that relates to how a family might find out about the school, how a family might explore the school, and how they might ultimately enroll and stay at the school. So all of those things. And I know I just said a lot in one sentence, but it's making people aware of what St. John has to offer, making them aware of the successes of our students and our staff, and letting them know how they can be part of it, really, in a nutshell. So it includes things like websites, social media, publications, coming here today, the Star Beacon. We do a really great school page, courtesy of the Star Beacon, radio ads that we might do.
Do you ever go to like civic organizations or anything like that and talk about?
Oh, definitely. I'm part of this year's Ashtabula County leadership class.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We just
My son was in that last year.
Yeah.
You learn a lot.
Fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
We just had our retreat last month, and we're starting our classes there. Local real estate agents who might come over, the Lions Club, Kiwanis, etc. So really that whole gamut of educating people on what St. John is and what we have to offer families really falls under Sister's president's office, and then my office as enrollment management marketing, and Chris Kovacs works in advancement with us. So the 3-headed monster in advancement, the 3 of us really do all of that external relations
You see
part of
like
the school.
3 people coming down the dusty old western road ready to...
You got it. You got it. You got
Okay,
it.
so I'm thinking now, Geneva closed their parochial school at the end of last year. Did you like immediately go over and start talking to people about coming to St. John and what they're going to find there and that sort of thing?
There was definitely a process. Obviously, you have to be respectful of the closing of a school,
right?
And what's happening there with families and losing the school. I mean, that's a very difficult thing for a church and a school and a family to deal with. So we had some evening programs where families were invited to come in and ask questions, find out what coming to St. John might look like. A number of students came and visited the school during a school day with us. A number of families came over to meet with teachers, meet with students to see what we had to offer. And I would say roughly half of the student body at Assumption came over this school year. typically coming into our kindergarten, first grade, second grade. They were a K through 3 school, so a lot of younger folks came over. But definitely some organized process in terms of meeting with families on what we had to offer academically, socially, extracurricular wise, financial. I mean, that's a big piece for any family, is how do I pay this tuition and things like that.
I would think that the proximity to, I mean, to get to your school, at least you get off at Austinburg, at least that's what I do, and go down 45 and you're right within a couple of blocks. So you're one freeway stop from Geneva.
And our, it's funny, the move to Saybrook, in so many ways, I mean, it was good in every way, to be honest, but it's really opened up places like Conneaut more so for us.
Because you get on 90?
It's easier to get to. It seems crazy that we moved further away from Conneaut and North Kingsville and places like that, and we've seen more families come to us since we moved, but being right off of Route 84, being right off of Route 20, being right off of the freeway, a number of families might be heading west for work in the morning. We're an easy drop-off and pick-up for families. The pre-K to 12 campus has brought all of our students into one building.
Right.
So if you have a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old, they go to the same school now. So you're not, making 2 routes to 2 different schools in 2 different directions anymore. So the move to Saybrook has really opened up not just Geneva and Madison and even Geauga County for us, but it's opened up places like Conneaut and Jefferson and North Kingsville and really the entire county.
Wow. Location.
That's what they say.
That's interesting, because I was going to ask about, like, Conneaut. When I was in school, back before the the engine and all, that there were 2 parochial schools in Conneaut, and now there are none.
Sure.
And we do provide some transportation for students from Conneaut, and we're looking, hopefully in the future as we continue to grow, to be able to provide more transportation options. I came originally from the Cleveland area, and it wasn't unusual for students in Cleveland to ride 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get to a high school.
It's not unusual for a kid to ride 30 to 40 minutes within his own school system.
So for Conneaut to ride to, St. John is a half-hour ride.
And it may be a half-hour in the bus to get to Conneaut High School, really.
So we want to be able to, again, we want to make the best fit for kids. Not every school is the right fit, and part of what I think Keith does so well is helping families discover what that fit and what that match is, what we have to offer that can help, nurture dramatic talents, artistic talents, scientific talents, whatever those might be, athletic talents. Keith sits down and really does it on a one-on-one process. I think Keith, probably more than myself, knows every kid in the school. He's really worked with them, worked with their families to bring them in, knows the families well to be able to do that, and we think it's important to do that on a county-wide level to be able to provide the best in education for our young people. And I think the proof of that is that 90% of our graduates go on to college.
I was just going to ask that.
Off air, we were talking about a young woman last year who's now studying in Boston in music and drama. We have a student at St. Mary's in South Bend studying pre-medicine. We have students at Case Western, John Carroll, Cleveland State, Kent State. Quite a broad horizon of where students want to go. Duquesne. Some good top-notch colleges that students have been admitted to. The students who, the less than 1% who don't immediately go on to college. The last couple of years we've had somebody go into the military as a way to, I think, eventually get their college degree. We prepare students not only to be leaders, to be people of service. Most importantly, what schools need to do is prepare them academically.
Right.
We're a college prep institution, for the most part, and our goal is to take a student at whatever level they are and prepare them for that next step. Certainly we have some students who have some learning challenges. We're able to work with them. Again, I think smaller class sizes, more hands-on learning with teachers, more technology-related types of approaches. Every one of our 7th graders on up has their own laptop device to be able to use it as a tool.
Oh, really?
When you and I were in school, it was slide rules and
Oh, yeah.
Venn diagrams with some sort of little contractor. Now it's learning to use the computer to do those kinds of things, and so we're trying to help students be able to do that in an environment that is safe. We're bringing in a counselor from the Ravenwood Center this week to talk about internet safety, both for students and from a parent
Oh, that's a good idea.
side of things. So we try to educate our families as well as our students to be able to do that. Later on in the month, we're bringing in a local author, talk with kids about what it means to be an author, what it means to be a writer in today's society. So lots of add-ons to the school day for students.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's and I've noticed, like, public service. I was there once when J.P. Ducro was there, and he had he had annually for the service people. But
Valentine's for Soldiers.
That's it. Yeah.
You should have come yesterday.
Valentine's Day already? What happened to Christmas?
Oh, no. You brought up J.P. Ducro.
Yeah.
His wife Peggy, usually one of my hats that I get to wear at the school is lunchroom supervision.
Oh.
Kindergarten, first and second grade. So I get to open a lot of yogurts, a lot of chocolate milk, hand out a lot of straws and spoons and stuff like that. And JP's wife Peggy usually volunteers on Tuesdays. And yesterday she informed me in the morning dropping off the girls that JP would be coming to lunch duty yesterday. So he got an introduction yesterday into kindergarten lunch duty.
Did he do okay?
So he did all right. I took some nice photos with my phone for his wife, but
you should put them on the website.
But when you talk about, to kind of bring it all back, you've got parents that are volunteering, and they're not
Right, he has kids there.
Yeah, he has 3 daughters. And you talk about, coming back to the school to do like a project for, Valentine's for Soldiers, but he's also in the building on a Tuesday doing lunch supervision for his daughters. And I think that kind of, in a nutshell, is, who our parents in our school community are. They're volunteering at lunch duty. They're volunteering, at athletic booster events. They're volunteering to help on a marketing team with my office and sister's office. They're volunteering at our night at the races that we just had. So a lot of other school folks have said, how do you do it? How do you get people to volunteer?
When you're talking like that, I was just wondering, do they have, because it is not government run, taxpayer, people have more of a stake in it, that if I don't do this, it may not get done? Where if it's a public school, they might say, I'm paying my property taxes, somebody else should be doing this.
I think there's some degree of that. They tell me they can't say no to the none. So, but I think it's about creating an environment and an atmosphere where people do feel a stake in that. And I think that can happen in public and private schools where people feel a sense of ownership.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And I think certainly we do that. I think one of the prime examples of that is our upcoming event, Festival of Trees, which is held on November 25th. This is our 22nd year of doing it. It's certainly one of the main ways that we help cover the difference between what is charged in tuition and what the actual cost of educating students are. So it's a fundraiser, but we think of it also as a fundraiser. It's a wonderful evening of dinner and entertainment and live auction, silent auction, all those types of things. But it's also about a community atmosphere. And Patty Anderson and Michelle Levesque have done it for 10 years now. They've retired twice on me. They've unretired twice on me. I told them don't even use that word anymore.
You can't retire on the none.
You can't retire on the none. But I think what they do so well is that they invite others. So, we have people whose children have graduated and still are very much a part of that. People in the community who have no children in the school have been, part of this whole regeneration process. One of the first people that really kind of put his words into action was a gentleman by the name of Ron Raymond. Ron came out to the school the summer that we were moving, saw Joanne Stiles, who is a woman well past my age, was the first.
So she's over 30.
She's over 30.
Okay.
Was the first gym teacher at the school. She was back helping us on a 10-foot ladder, painting lockers. He saw other people around, and he was just so impressed that he came to our first dinner with Urban Meyer. He's an Ohio State fan, football fan. He came to the dinner with Urban, and he stood up that night and he said, you know, these kids need a gym, and he wrote a check that night for $500,000. Ron is not Catholic. Ron does not live in Ashtabula County, but he believed in something that he saw and issued a challenge to the rest of us to go and find the rest of the money to make
Now,
that
were you
happen.
planning on building? Well,
Yeah.
I think you were.
We, you know, it was in the talk stage. We had, you know, met with a few people, but you know, to raise $3 million without a dime in the bank, you know, having that first $500,000 made it easier to raise the next $500,000.
Yeah, that's what I find. When I need $500,000 after I get that, it's.
You know, it just it kind of made it snowballs. Other people then, you know, came up. We had another donor who donated $1 million towards the project, so that we
Yeah.
could, he
And
said,
it wasn't Urban Meyer.
and it wasn't Urban Meyer.
Because that's before I even asked that. You told me that.
Urban has been, you know, good with us, supportive, but he also knows that, you know, I think one of the things that we sometimes forget, because Urban is the face of St. John's School, and he's grateful to be the face, and he's a kind of graduate we're proud of, because he's a man of integrity, a man of deep faith. He begins every morning by texting his kids a scripture quote. That's the kind of person we want. But Urban is one of many graduates from St. John who's like that. He's not the only one.
Right.
He's one of many, many, many.
But his name comes up a little bit more
Well,
than the
because he's the
others.
face, and people
Right.
know him. You know, people don't know, you know, the Emily Bakers of the world, or the, you know, other people that I could name that, you know, nobody.
And Emily is the one you were talking about
Right.
earlier that was in so many productions at the Arts Center, singing and dancing and acting, and you could tell that she had a real joy for
You know, I could
that.
talk about Ticey's Up, who, you know, owns the pharmacy here in Ashtabula, is the pharmacist at the in the Conneaut area. You know, Ticey has children in the school, but she's successful, she's articulate, she gives back to the community, she's a force. But if I put Ticey's name on a billboard, people are going to say, who's Ticey? You know, Ticey, I know you.
That's nice about Ticey, but let's get back to her.
Urban and the school. You know, so there are people who are willing. A person who gave $1 million said to me, sister, what do I need to do to take this off the drawing board and put the first shovel in the ground? He said, what will it take? First I said, you know, $500,000. He said, I'm going to give you $1 million. He said, I want this done now.
And you said, why didn't I ask for
For
$5
two. You know, he said, I want this shovel in the ground a year ago, June. He said, I don't want to wait. And, you know, that kind of emphasis. And, you know, certainly the big dollars are important, but we have about, you know, 4,000 alum. I have an alum who, from before I came to the school, has sent a check for $15 every single month. I can count on that check. I know when it'll come. That check is as important as the $1 million check, because it's consistent. It's a sign that people believe in the school. They believe in what's happening.
It's kind of like the Bernie Sanders fundraising.
Yeah, a little bit. And fundraising is the name of our game. We do a lot of fundraising.
But when you were just talking about that, maybe it kind of crossed my mind. It's a fundraiser, but you make it a community event and a fun thing. So it isn't like, oh, it's a St. John thing. You're gonna go there. You're gonna get inundated for money requests.
Right, and we try to be, you know, kind of strategic in that.
Right.
We don't want to be asking people every minute. We want to have some events where we just invite alum and people back and have them come to the school and have a good time. And you know, we'll have an alumni basketball game first Saturday in January. Alum haven't played in the new gym yet. We want them to come back and see it. That's not a fundraiser. It's just about inviting them back and having them be the first ones to shoot the hoops in there. And we'll have a tip-off classic for our girls team. So we have a lot of, you know, fun activities. We want the community to be able to use the building. You talked before about community groups. Not only do we go out to Kiwanis and to the Rotary, they're welcome to have their events in our building. We've hosted them. We want people in the building. We want as many people as possible to use it. We believe we're a part of the community, and the only way for that to happen is to open up the doors and let them in.
Sure. And we have to go to another break. But I was just thinking too is that all these schools that were closed and the problems they're having. North Kingsville, they said it was worth $250,000. They sold it for $3,500, and they don't know what's going to happen to it. The Amboy School here in Conneaut, that they tore down with the asbestos and all the mess and all. And I would think all of the people in and around the neighborhood where you located, they must be bringing you flowers every day because you took a school that could have turned into an eyesore and you expanded it and made it kind of a living, breathing thing that...
Yeah, I think the neighbors are happy with that. Certainly, they see a lot more activity around, and hopefully that keeps the neighborhood a neighborhood school and see kids, thriving. Probably traffic doesn't always thrill them,
but they know when it is.
Right. You can stay off the roads at 7:30 to 8 o'clock and 2:15 to 2:45. But I think they know that there's always people in the building. I mean, doors open at 6:30 in the morning, and there's probably somebody there from 6:30 in the morning till 10, 11 at night.
And and one of the coolest things about that is when I told my dad, who's now 78, turned 78 in October, I said, Dad, we're moving to Saybrook. I'm going to be working in Saybrook now. And he said, I went to school there.
Oh, really?
I said, no, you didn't. I said, you're forgetful again. You're making this up. He goes, no, I had shop class in the basement. And I'll be darned if there isn't an area which is now Mrs. O's art room, where my dad had shop class when it was Saybrook School before he went to Ashtabula High School. So,
was it an elementary school then, or was it a...
He tells me it was a junior high.
It was K through 9 at one.
Yeah.
It went up to 9th grade at some point.
I know years ago, the 30s and 40s, all of these schools had Pierpont was K through 12, and you can imagine a high school in Pierpont these days. Right. And you go down around 7 a little bit more in Williamsville. The building's falling apart now, but that was a K through 12.
Right.
My neighborhood school when I went to was Lakeview in North Conneaut. And I guess during World War II, the high school was going through renovations, and they used that little gym for high school basketball at the time.
Goodness.
Yeah, and I was thinking a little bit about when I went to Saybrook the first time, the little gym they had there. I might have been a little bigger than Lakeview's, but it wasn't a whole lot. And the difference is, what they have now is just dramatic.
Yes, it is.
We're going to come back and talk about some things at the school, the theater program that produces people like Emily Baker and a few other things academically wise, sports wise, that sort of thing as we wrap things up. And we've been talking about St. John's School and the real transformation of the school. It kind of started back when it was in central Ashtabula, not a particularly great place, but it's really kind of taken off since you moved. One thing I want to ask you before we get away from the urban mire is, I know 2 years ago when he comes back for his camp, his basketball camp at Spire, did he come back and see you again this year?
For the last 3 years, he's hosted a dinner for us
for
fundraising purposes. And he was able to, this year, with doing the dinner and his camp, he wasn't able to actually get out to the campus. It just, timing-wise, we just couldn't fit it all in. But he's, knows what's happening and emails me occasionally and keeps in touch. He has a book coming out. We hope to get a few signed copies.
Really? Oh, excellent.
About leadership and...
he would be one for leadership.
Yeah, and motivation.
You can hear him talking to the kids, and I think that the life lessons he tries to instill there are a little bit more important to him even than the football, than learning how to play football.
Right. Yeah. I don't think he wants to lose, but
no. But not everybody is going to play for Ohio State. Yeah.
No, he's very much focused on leadership, motivation, and how that carries over in life. So I think the book comes out before Christmas. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. Something to look for. Mm-hmm. You were talking off air. I don't think we ever talked about this on air though. Is about like the theater program that they have there and how St. John is not just there by itself, but it kind of incorporated into the community and how you have people. We were talking about Emily Baker, who when you see her sing and dance on stage at the Art Center, she's enjoying it and she does an excellent job. And now she is going to school in Massachusetts. She just graduated this year, and you said there are like 60 kids from the school that are in the theater.
You know, one of the nicest things about the activities that we do at school are that we start those with the kindergartners.
Right.
So we open up all of our activities for kindergarten through grade 12, and in a natural partnership with the Asheville Art Center, so many of our students have started at the Art Center, still are at the Art Center, continue at the Art Center. We were able to start a drama club at our school through the efforts of Mrs. Emerson and Mrs. Kyle, who were pretty instrumental at the Art Center as well. And it started with 12 students just a few years ago. And I believe
Really?
Mrs. Kyle, 12 students, and I believe Mrs. Kyle,
okay.
yeah, Mrs. Kyle told me recently that she had upwards of 60 students in the drama club this year. They meet on Fridays now in the afternoons, and you have 5-year-olds in kindergarten with seniors together in a drama club, and it's pretty, again, a pretty cool feature of the school is to see a performance of, say, Shrek Jr. last year, and you see Doug Warren, who's a freshman at Walsh now, who was a senior who played Shrek, and Doug is every bit of 6'4" and 250, 270 pounds. And he's on stage with Mia Torres, who is about 3 foot and about 36 pounds in the kindergarten, and they're on stage together in the drama club, and it's pretty amazing what Mrs. Kyle and Mrs. Emerson are able to do with our program, because it's not easy to take those two ages and put them together in a production. So that's a pretty big deal at our school, the drama club, and is definitely a reason that students come to the school, and to be able to put on a couple performances a year is a big deal for a school of 410 students.
Sure, and it helps. We've talked about this before. Is with people from the Conneaut Art Center and the Asheville Art Center, is that it helps kids. They're more vocal. I've talked to the kids in children's productions, and they look like they are like 3'6", and you start talking to them, and they speak very well. And well, how many productions have you been in? 1, 2. This is my 19th.
Yeah,
It's providing those opportunities. That's what I like to think we do, is provide those opportunities for the students at a very young age to figure out what it is that they're about, what it is that they enjoy to do, and all they need is that first shot on stage in first grade to catch it, to catch that this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I like to do, and now maybe you've set them on a different path.
Like Emily.
Exactly, like Emily, or a young lady who starts cheerleading in 2nd grade with our Little Heralds program on Sundays, and now all of a sudden takes off on a different path and decides she wants to be a cheerleader in high school and college. So I think that's the coolest thing about offering those opportunities in kindergarten, is that it really gives the students a chance to kind of feel their way around and find out those interests that they might have, and where can they take it from there.
I think the other opportunity is that students can do more than one thing. I'm thinking of Dane Gustafson, who probably, when you said 19 productions, I'm guessing he's been in probably twice that many at the Art Center. Great voice, great actor, but he's also a star member of our football team. And so it allows him to use different talents in different settings, and people accept him both as an athlete and as a theatrical person. And you see kids rooting on. So kids from the football team who wouldn't dream of being in a show are out at the Art Center watching Dane in a production. And at volleyball games, the whole football team have Scream team shirts. They're bright neon yellow.
Can't miss them.
I saw them.
Sitting behind yelling for the girls to win. So it's that sense that not only my talents, but I appreciate the talents of other people. I appreciate my classmates. To be able to do that kind of bonding, to be able to support the kids on a Scholastic Bowl team.
Which St. John has held its own for being a smaller school. Has done
2 years ago we won it.
Yeah.
In the county. So
up against the big boys like at Lakeside.
Sure. And that's, as the school continues to grow, you're gonna continue to see more and more of those types of things in our athletic programs.
I was going to say, now you didn't have football a few years ago, right?
This
Absolutely.
is the 2nd year back for varsity football.
Yeah, and we have 25 on our high school football team, full-fledged varsity schedule, playing other varsity teams, and it's a learning process.
Right.
I would challenge anybody to go from not having football to playing a varsity schedule 2 years later. It's a huge step. It's like playing football in your backyard, and then all of a sudden you're lining up against somebody who's played their entire life and knows really how to play football. But our coaches and our kids are prepared every Friday. They don't quit. They're well coached. They play with heart. They do us proud. Win, lose, or draw. I think that's another pretty neat feature of the school is you wouldn't know at a football game, at a volleyball game, at a basketball game if we were losing 64-0 or winning 35-10 because our fans are still going crazy. I think it's a community event, and we're glad to have the opportunity, and our kids are glad to have the opportunity to perform. But being a small school too, like Sister said, gives them the opportunity to play multiple sports, to even try out sports. We are starting a wrestling program this winter, and by all accounts, we're going to have a few pretty good wrestlers, if you believe our coaches.
Right.
But there's going to be, for sure, some high school boys in the wrestling program who have never done it before, and they'll have an opportunity to do it being a smaller school. Basketball, baseball, golf, tennis, baseball, softball, volleyball, cross country.
Volleyball team was very good this year.
Volleyball team is 17-3, sweeping a lot of schools. I got a big match with Edgewood tonight over at Edgewood, and they do play a lot of our county schools, and that's good for the county that, a St. John student who has friends at Edgewood, friends at Conneaut, friends at Lakeside and Geneva gets to play them in
So they're
competition
playing
that's healthy.
Edgewood tonight?
Our girls are playing Edgewood tonight at Edgewood in volleyball, yes.
Okay, so for some reason I thought it was Monday and Tuesday they were playing. The reason I ask is that I was asked a video and I thought it had already happened.
No, it's tonight against
Edgewood's
Central.
tonight at Edgewood.
Is that the last game then? Or batch?
I think it's the last regular season game. We started our tournament play October 22nd.
Okay.
We're season number 1. Tony Masucci in golf advanced to districts. Last year we had Michelangelo Zullo advance to districts in golf. First time I think school in the area has had back-to-back district qualifiers. We've started.
Greg Anderson was the conference champ in cross country as a freshman. Our baseball and softball teams were conference champs in the spring this past year. So we're definitely on the rise. Having new facilities absolutely legitimizes the athletic program.
Yeah, I bet.
It's great to have such an unbelievable partnership with Aspire for football, but in terms of things like volleyball and basketball, there is absolutely a value for Sister and I to walk down the hallway from our offices and be in the gym, talking to parents and watching a volleyball game, to having our students walk down the hallway for practice after school. The new facilities have really legitimized the program and have gotten young people excited about being at the school and wanting to come to the school to play volleyball, basketball, tennis, football. The new weight room is 3 times, 4 times bigger than the old weight room, if you believe the alums. I do, because I remember the old weight room.
What about music? Is there?
We have a choir and an instrumental program for students. The choir program really starts in kindergarten again, in preschool for that matter. Our 4 and 5-year-olds are learning how to sing and play simple instruments and getting ready for a Christmas and a spring concert. The instrumental part of the program starts in 5th grade. Tony Esposito's been running the band program forever and ever and ever.
Number 1 world band director.
Best band director in the world.
We have to say that or Tony won't talk to us.
Yes. He is the king, he'll tell you that. He starts in 5th grade with the instrumental, teaching students how to play instruments, and then the 7 through 12 band is actually a class that students are taking, and they'll play pep band at basketball games in the winter. The choir is really a performance choir. They've gone out to area nursing homes to sing Christmas carols. They've performed at area civic events and perform at the Christmas concerts, the spring concerts under Joy Lear's leadership. So, and those two are programs that are on the move and growing. When you have more students, you have more programs, and those programs get bigger and they get better. And that's really what I would say to families looking now is it's a pretty good time to be a Herald. It's a pretty exciting time to get in at ground level and join what we've got going on.
So we got about 1 minute left. So.
We're looking to add other programs, as Keith said. We're looking to bring back some academic programs, AP classes.
Oh,
We'll be starting an enrichment program for our junior high students. So again, it's not all just the bricks and mortars that being added, but certainly looking at curriculum and other areas as well to be able to provide the best in Catholic education for our young people.
so how would they, if somebody's interested, what do they do? Go to your
The-
website, call you, email you?
All the above. The best thing to do when you connect with the school is ask for me, Keith Corlew. That'll cut right to the chase. I'll take you through the school, set up visits for your families and students. You can call us at 997-5531. You can email me at keithcorlew@neoman.org. You can go on our website at sjheralds.com. You can visit the school on Depot Road at 7911 Depot. Any of those will work for you, and I'll be your contact and your first step into the school.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
Sister Maureen Burke and Keith Corlew. Man of many hats. Everybody's got to have a lot of hats there,
Everybody's
don't
a lot of
they?
hats.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be back.
Thank you.